Welcome to Living Marvelously with me, Laurie Jonas. This is the show where we unleash the marvelous potential in every woman. Are you ready to dream big and leap into a life you love? Don't let the expectations of others choose for you. Step out of your comfort zone and learn how to create what your life looks like. I'll take you on an inspirational journey, helping you tap into the wellspring of your inner strength, get clear on your life purpose, and unleash the vision you came into the world to share. On Living Marvelously, you will learn about personal development, self-care, and spirituality. And together, we will connect with others, sharing their unique energies, and learn to create a world that allows everyone to shine. Living Marvelously starts now. Hello, everyone. I'm Laurie Jonas, and you're listening to Living Marvelously with Laurie Jonas on Transformation Talk Radio. So stay with me for the next 30 minutes. We're going to discuss spirituality and what it really means. So be sure to join me every second and fourth Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll have some great discussions on how to create your fun, your adventurous, your empowering, loving, and beautiful life. So let's get started. Have you ever felt a quiet nudge or a whisper from within, urging you to explore something deeper? So maybe you've experienced moments where the hustle and bustle of daily life just didn't seem enough. If you're nodding your head, you're not alone. Many women feel this call, a yearning to connect with their spiritual selves and to rediscover their inner power. But what does being spiritual even mean? And how can you embark on your own spiritual journey? So let's talk spirituality. When I was younger, my mom always taught my religion classes at our church. In fact, she taught all of her kids, and then she taught their kids or anybody who went to religion there. She was a steadfast person in this religious teaching in the classes for teaching at our Catholic church. So when I became a mom, I followed in her footsteps, and I started teaching my own kids religion. And I was teaching them when they were young, like in second grade. So you were just teaching, simple concepts. And then I started teaching them when they were in middle school and high school. And I started really questioning what we were teaching. The curriculum seemed too forced and really kind of hard to explain. I soon realized that what I wanted to teach was how to be spiritual, not religious in one faith. So being spiritual means having a meaningful connection with something bigger than yourself, a higher spirit that helps co-create your life. So while teaching Catholicism includes believing in God, it also looks at God as separate from ourselves. And so I was teaching the children and these pre-adults that they needed to do the right thing to be seen as good in God's eyes. But in spiritual terms, everyone is perfect just the way they are. And we all have access to God, this higher spirit inside of us. This higher spirit resides in our soul right now. So being spiritual is often misunderstood as something like esoteric or reserved for mystics, when in reality, spirituality is deeply personal and unique to every individual. It's about connecting with something greater than yourself, whether that would be the universe, nature, God, spirit, or higher power, however you want to describe that something that's greater than yourself, and then finding meaning beyond the material world. And I find that people tend to avoid the topic of spirituality because they're either afraid of what people will think or they don't really understand what it is. So think of spirituality as a compass guiding you towards inner peace, towards joy, towards fulfillment. It's less about adhering to specific rituals or dogmas, and more about cultivating a sense of purpose and alignment in your life. For some, spirituality may involve meditation, prayer, yoga. For others, it could just be spending time in nature, practicing gratitude, or engaging in creative pursuits that they love. So what does spirituality mean to you? Take a moment to reflect on this question. And there is no right or wrong answers. It's just your truth waiting to be discovered. So here's a few questions. Maybe write these down as I say them. What do you believe about God and the universe? What were you taught as a child about God and the universe? What mindful practices do you like to engage in? So by mindful, I mean, what practices do you do that really take you out of the exterior world or all the chaos that's going on around you and just brings you back to yourself and where you feel joy and where you feel comfort and you feel peace? What were your religious and spiritual influences and environment like? What was that like growing up? What spiritual practices intrigue you that are different than your own? And what makes you feel closest to God, the universe, spirit, source, however you would like to explain that? So once you have some idea of what spiritual means to you, you don't have to go out and shout it from the rooftops. No one else has to know. Let it be an experiment. See what it feels like to talk to your higher spirit. How do you feel when you walk in nature and you clear your mind? Is there a change in your mindset? Are you more positive after you take the time to do things that bring you joy? Because truly, if you're feeling this spirituality, if you're experiencing it, if you're practicing with it, people will notice. You don't have to tell them. They may just walk up to you and say, you know, what's different about you lately? And then you can share if you want to, or you just say, I don't know, just trying some different things. So when I prepare for my shows every 2 weeks, I like to write everything down. You probably can tell from when I look down at my notes to talk to you. And as I was preparing for this show, I had everything written down. I was drawing from some different blog posts I written, but it just really wasn't sitting well. And so just this morning, I sat down to write. Because I kind of was thinking about it last night as I was sleeping. Then I woke up this morning and sat down to write what I really wanted to share today. So I want to share some things that really what spirituality, what it looks like to me. So spirituality to me looks like loving everyone just as they are. It means understanding that every single person is here for a different reason, and it's not up to us to judge them for what that is. All we can do is be who we are here to be and love and appreciate what everybody else is also giving to the universe where in their place, in what they have come to do. It's also about knowing that we are all connected. It's knowing that we are all there's this energy that is going through all of us, and there's not one person who stands alone. We are all connected. I've done this practice before, I think, with you, but if you just hold out your hands and feel the energy in your hands, feel the energy flowing through, that energy is going to the person next to you, or it's flowing to, I'm sitting in my home, and I'm the only one here, and I have 5 acres in front of me, so I'm not reaching. There's nobody in sight, but that energy is still reaching the world. It's impacting you. It's going through the internet. The energy is reaching everyone, and we are all connected through that energy. So the things that you give out, the things that you share with the world is connecting everybody. It's reaching many people in different ways. Another thing that I think what spirituality looks like to me is I love human design. And I don't know if I've talked about it on here before or not, but human design is this chart that you have that shows you how to use your energy, how to make decisions, and it's all based on sort of when you were born in the stars and how you align. It's very spiritual, and it's very accurate. Every time I do a reading on human design, people are like, yeah, that's exactly how I am. That's exactly how I am. And so I love sharing that with people because it helps them to understand how they're supposed to make decisions, how they're supposed to use their energy. And I would love to share that with other people. I would love to walk up to somebody and they're explaining to me how they're just so tired or they just don't know what to do. I would like to say, hey, what's your human design? How can that help you? And have that be normal, right? I just want that to be normal. That's spirituality to me, sharing all of that with others. So along those same lines, if I hear somebody complaining, I want to just like walk up to them and say, hey, can you hear yourself right now? Can you hear what you're talking about? Like, is there another way you can think about what you're complaining about? Is there another perspective you can give it without that being weird? Without that being like, what are you talking about? No, that's just change your perspective because you are in charge of your thoughts. And if you are complaining about something, that means you don't like how you're seeing it. So let's change how you see it. Spirituality to me is helping people come back to themselves. It's seeing people who are in maybe crisis or chaos and just being able to help them take some deep breaths and come back to themselves to somehow push out that external world that's causing them so much anxiety, to come back to themselves and to appreciate who they are, appreciate what they have, appreciate what they can give to others, knowing that if you are struggling, that you can reach out for help. If you're in a place where you just don't know what to do, instead of sitting with it yourself and sort of going down into a deep hole of maybe it's depression, maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's just really feeling bad, is being spiritual knows, you know what? I know there's people out there who can help me and who can and do something, who can help me change my perspective again. Or maybe it's not an external person. Maybe it's just realizing that you have some answers inside of you and being able to channel that. And channeling is not a scary word. Channeling is just listening to yourself. So if you could just come back to yourself, take some deep breaths, drop from your mind, drop into your heart, and just say, how do I get out of this? What do I need? What do I need? And then you either just write it down or you hear yourself come up with something. That's spirituality. That's you practicing that and realizing that you have this higher power inside of you to help you. Along with that is not only when you're struggling do you have this inner knowing, but when you have a desire. I love to teach people how to download their dream life, how to come up with how to, or what they really want their life to look like. Is it how you're living right now, or is there something better? Is there something that you want? And when you do that, when you have this desire, when you can imagine something, it's already forming, it's already becoming a reality. So all you have to do is go out and get it by noticing what's out there, by noticing what's coming into your atmosphere. So to me, that's spirituality. Just knowing that you already have inside you what you need to have your dream life. Another one is knowing that you have the power to change how you think. And when you can change how you think, you can change how you act. And when you can change how you act, that's how you manifest those things that you want. It starts with your thoughts, it starts with your beliefs, and you have the power to change those. If you're struggling to get somewhere, if you're struggling to figure out how to create this life that you love, sit down and really think about, how am I talking to myself? Am I telling myself that it's never going to happen? You're not good enough. You can't do that. Or do I believe that nobody else has been able to do that in my family? How am I going to do that too? It's knowing that you have the power to reverse those. And all it is just doing it. Taking that I can't do it to I can do it. We're coming up to a break, so I'm going to stop there for a second. But when we come back, I want to continue talking about some more ways that I love to talk about spirituality and how you can have it in your life. And then we're going to talk about ways for you to practice spirituality. So I'm Laurie Jonas, and you are listening to Living Marvelously on Transformation Talk Radio, and we will be right back. All right, we are back on Living Marvelously with me, Laurie Jonas. Before we continue, I just want to invite you to check out my website, livingmarvelously.com. At the top of the page under products and services, there are a number of things that you can check out, but I had just mentioned some human design. I do human design readings, and one of the things that I found that can be helpful is if you're interested in human design, there are so many resources out there, and it's really a rabbit hole for you to go down. So I would love to help you with that, and I would love to do the research for you and give you a guide based on your personal human design chart. So if you're interested in that, check that out. All right, let's continue our discussion. So I left off with some things that I came up with this morning that I really wanted to share about spirituality. So there's just a couple more left. We were talking about how you can change your thoughts, how you can change your beliefs. So if you don't believe what you were taught as a child, if you don't believe maybe what you were taught at church, if you don't believe what you were taught maybe by a boss or, somebody was teaching you how to do something, and now you're like, you know what, wait a second, that doesn't have to be true for me. I can do it differently. You certainly can. You can change that to belief to create your own narrative for your life. Because everyone really is doing the best that they can with what they know. And they might think that what they know is the truth for everyone, but you know that it's not. Your truth is the truth for you, and it's not going to work for everyone else. You need to discover what it is for you. We are here, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So we know that there really is only love. And we are here for an experience before we go back into the universe. So let's figure out what we want to believe. Let's figure out how we want to live. Let's figure out what brings us the most joy in this short lifetime. And then we move on. And it really changes your perspective if you think about it that way. It's not like there's some specific thing you have to do, or, let's stop worrying about those fears. Let's just dive in. Let's just experiment with life because we're only here for a short time. And then I believe that once this lifetime is over, we may move into another lifetime so we can experience something else. So let's play full out here. And the last thing I want to talk about or two more things. Knowing that life is happening for you, that people, ideas, answers are brought into your awareness for you to take. So any challenges that you have, any failures that you think you have are not necessarily bad. What they are doing is they're showing you a different way. You are experimenting. Life is an experiment. You're experimenting with life, and if something shows up that isn't what you wanted to happen, you need to look back at that and think, okay, what did I do? Why did that happen? What can I learn from that? Do I want to do that again? How do I move on? What's the next step? There's no such thing as failure. It's only experiments that teach us something then to move on. And then the last thing is one of the biggest things I like to teach is that being spiritual is really paying attention to what lights you up. What brings you the most joy in life? What do you do? What are you doing when you forget to eat? What are you doing when you lose track of time? When you realize, oh my gosh, I've been sitting here for 4 hours. What is it that you're doing? For me, it's writing. For me, it's preparing for a coaching session. For me, it's doing things where I can research and preparing for my shows. It's that's the kind of thing that lights me up. That's not going to light you up. So you have to figure out what it is that lights you up, because that's why you're here in this lifetime. The things that bring you the most joy are the things that you're supposed to be doing. So those are the things that really came up that I was like, those are the things I love to share. That's what I wanted to share with you today. But now I want you to take some action. All right. Here's some next steps for how you can explore your spiritual journey. So the first one is to set intentions. So begin by setting clear intentions around what aspects of spirituality resonate most deeply within you personally. So maybe it's enhancing your self-care routines. Maybe it's incorporating mindfulness practices or embracing holistic wellness approaches or focusing more intently on manifestation and the law of attraction. Or maybe it's doing visualization. So set an intention on how you want to use spirituality and how you want to experiment with it. So maybe you have a desire. You have a desire that says, I want to start a new business. And so how are you going to do that? Maybe you start with, what are my beliefs about my business and me starting a business? Maybe you start with, I'm going to create a vision board. Maybe it's, what resources can I use in order to get this business? How do I have to feel about myself for this business to succeed? So set intentions and then play with different spiritual aspects that can help you get there. The second thing is create sacred space. Designate area within your home environment exclusively devoted to nurturing your soul and your spirit connection. Maybe you have a really comfy chair, or you decorate items that inspire this calmness, serenity, beauty. Like maybe it's candles, crystals, plants, beautiful artwork. And use that space regularly to engage in reflective activities. So whether you like to meditate, maybe you like to journal, maybe it's just reading, or maybe it's just that's your place to relax. I love to journal. I have a chair that I like to sit in every morning, and I do, and I just write. I do a lot of channeling, and like I said before, channeling is not scary. It's just listening to yourself. And I like to just write. So create that sacred space. And then it is to love yourself. I think this is really important. And it's really important way for you to have the spiritual health. You need to make yourself a priority. When you take care of yourself and you love yourself for who you are right now, you really have more to give. And people can sense that. They can sense when you have this love for yourself, and they feel it and they pick up on it, and they may start loving themselves as well. And it starts with knowing that the universe unconditionally loves you. So really hold on to that truth. They only want what's best for you. Use that whenever you feel less than happy. Go back to, I am loved and I am love. Watch what fills your mind. We talked about that. What are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you watching? Pay attention to questions and question some things that maybe creates negativity and doubt in your life. Explore different belief systems. Maybe broaden your horizons and challenge any preconceived notions, whether it's diving into Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, any other religion. Maybe it's Catholicism. Maybe it's Judaism. Whatever it is, explore different belief systems and see what you can find and really what feels best to you. And seek guidance. Consider working with a spiritual coach who can guide you on this journey. I'd love to help you find more fulfillment and peace in your life. It's really one of my goals is to help women do that. All right. So I hope I shared some ways with you that spirituality is not scary. It's not woo woo. It just is how you're experimenting with life and just really knowing that you have this spirit within you that can help you with whatever you need. So I want to thank you for all tuning in to Living Marvelously. I hope I have inspired you to experiment with your spirituality. So reach out to me if you need more help. And please join me every second and fourth Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Central. Next time on Living Marvelously, I want to talk to you about the art of simple living. All right, I will see you then, and thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to Living Marvelously with me, your host, Laurie Jonas. Tune in next time to unleash the marvelous potential in every woman, every second and fourth Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com as I help you choose a life that you are passionate about. Learn to embrace your unique self, dream big, and leap into what you choose to have your marvelous life look like. Together we create a world that allows everyone to shine. For more information, visit livingmarvelously.com. That's livingmarvelously.com. See you next time on Living Marvelously.